first, protecting the Clovis Way of Life is a way of life for some. So joining us now is Detective Anthony Puente from the Clovis PD. So thanks for being here. I always like doing this segment because I am from Clovis.
Oh, awesome.
So I went to Clovis High Schools, went to Clovis School, so I know a little bit about the Clovis Way of Life. So let's talk about your career with Clovis PD and what made you join up.
So my senior year in college, I was contemplating on what I wanted to do for a career, and one of my mentors told me, you should go on a ride-along. So I went on a ride-along. I fell in love with the profession. I fell in love with wanting to serve, and that's what I'm doing, and I absolutely love being a police officer.
So I think the ride-along is such a great way for people to understand what it actually means to put on a uniform and go out in the middle of the night sometimes to protect and to serve. I've done a ride-along in Bakersfield, and it was incredibly eye-opening. So what was it about that experience that convinced you that this was the career path you wanted to take?
It was nothing crazy or no crazy calls. It was simple, routine calls. One of them was a vehicle burglary report, and we helped this citizen collect evidence from their vehicle, and we ended up finding the suspect on the same shift. And to me, that was just mind-blowing. Being able to serve that citizen and solve the case from start to finish. And little did I know that that was not very common.
No.
But it was very awesome to see. Very cool.
Yeah, I've actually known a couple of people, unfortunately, not here in town, but unfortunately that have had cars stolen, and they were found, but not until, you know, months later, and then at that point they're totaled. That's a great story, actually, and I think there's something to be said when you get a call from somebody and, you know, they don't know who else to call. There is nobody else to call them, and so they call you, and there's I think it's definitely probably a rewarding feeling that you can get from serving. So what has been your favorite assignment with Clovis PD?
It's my current assignment as a detective, and I really like being able to solve a case and come to a resolution for the victim or the citizen that is in need. So being a detective has been my favorite assignment.
What was that, the career path that you wanted? Did you set out to try to make detective?
At first, no. It was just something that, as I learned more about, I showed more interest in that, and I said, you know what, I'm going to apply to be a detective. And luckily I got chosen, and it's been so much fun.
What's the training like? How is it different from, you know, being an officer to making detective?
The training is, for the most part, the same, but you do get a little more specialized training in whatever field you're going to be a detective. I'm a property crimes detective.
Oh, okay.
So I have a little extra training on fingerprint dusting and surveillance footage and how to obtain more evidence and figure out who did it.
The technology is pretty cool too. I actually did a story once on fingerprinting, and they showed me how it evolved from you know, a tiny little microscope to counting the rings to what you guys do now, and still some of it you still do that today.
Yes.
I think it's actually fascinating. So as a detective, how does your team and your unit, how do you guys protect the Clovis Way of Life?
So we have a really good team, and we all work together and we help each other out. And I think that's what separates us from a lot of different agencies, is that we work really well together as a tight-knit group, and we do our best to do whatever we can to come to a resolution.
I've heard that from, because, you know, I've had a lot of your fellow officers from Clovis PD on now, and I've heard a lot of that from them when they come in, that it really operates as like family over there. Even if you wear a uniform or if you sit at the front desk, it kind of feels like a family over there. Why do you think that is? What is it about Clovis PD that is able to facilitate that kind of environment?
I think it just comes down to keeping the Clovis Way of Life as pure as can be, and that is keeping that small town feel, keeping those relationships close, and just caring about one another.
Yeah, and people who are not from Clovis, who, you know, they go back to my hometown and they take a drive around, they're always amazed at how clean it is. And I really think that that says something about, you know, the kind of community you keep when you can keep a really nice looking community. I think it says something about the people who live there, that they want to keep up this community and have it looking nice, and they take pride in being there. So if we've got, you know, other fellow Clovis lovers out there who want to join up, they want to join Clovis PD, what's that process like? How do they do it? Where do they sign up?
They apply with the city on a city website, and then once they fill out that application, they'll receive a follow-up email, and then from then there's just more steps to take, an interview and a background check.
Okay.
But the first step is getting online to the City of Clovis website and filling out that application.
Perfect. All right, Detective Anthony Puente, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So if there's anybody out there that's interested in joining the Clovis PD, you can visit joinclovispd.com. We'll also have it up on our website. Coming up here on Central Valley Today, sometimes accidents happen, so it's important to know where you can get appropriate care and reduce ER visits. United Health Center shows off their urgent care program. That's next.